you determine an author's purpose? In this lesson, you will learn how to think about the choices an author made by asking, why did the author choose to write it this way instead of that way? The article we've been looking at is Life for Slave Children in 1861. Let's talk about a common mistake. Some readers finish reading a text and say, I'm done. They don't realize that when you finish reading a text, that's when the work really begins. It's not just about the words on the page. It's about what it makes you to think when you're finished. So, when we're thinking, what choices did the author make? There's a few different things we can look at. We can think about the structure the author used to write the article. We can think about the features the author included. And we can think about the voice and point of view that the author used. So if we think about this particular article, Life for Slave Children, what choices did the author make? I can think about structure, I can think about features, and I can think about voice and point of view. Oh, that's right. I noticed that the author wrote in the second person, you, instead of the third person, they. They said things like, you were property instead of slaves were property, or they were property, or you were responsible for watching the white children instead of slaves were responsible for watching the white children. So now I can think to myself, why did the author write it this way instead of that way? Why did the author write in the second person, you, instead of the third person, they? Why would the author do that? Why would the author want to be talking to the reader in that way? You were a slave. Maybe the author used you so that the reader would really feel what it was like to be a slave, so we'd really understand how hard life was for slaves. Okay, so here's the steps we followed. 1. We noticed the choices an author made about structure, features, voice, and point of view. Then, number 2, we asked, why did the author choose to write this way instead of another way? In this lesson, you've learned to think about the choices an author made by asking, why did the author choose to write it this way instead of that way?